Good morning, this is Judy at Artistic Artifacts, and we are located in Alexandria, Virginia. And I hope that you're having a wonderful morning, and to our friends in other time zones, a great day you've had, because we actually have an international reach, which is very much a big compliment for us. Today we are, October 2nd is National Batik Day. And considering batik made a really big impact in the direction of our business, we need to embrace that and celebrate batik. But before we get into that, I have one announcement that we have a Creative Quest coming up. It's the weekend of the 17th, 18th, and 19th. That's 3 days. So in April, we focus on mixed media. In October, we focus on fabric and quilting and fiber. So we have a couple of classes going on. There might be room in the one class with Dudley, which is paper piecing, a wonderful, very creative quilt. And then Friday from 10 to 12, this is free, and it is an educational program about the new Bernina launched machines. So the 7 Series Pros, why are they called Pros? What makes them different? Why would you consider owning one of them? How they operate, as well as the 3 Series. So they have redesigned the Bernina 3 Series to have an integration system similar to the rest of the line. So that's quite wonderful. So think of it as education, finding out about Berninas, and we challenge those of you who have never sewn on a Bernina that are missing out at how fabulous they are. Yes, that's my personal opinion. To come and find out and sew on them and see how they differentiate between the other brands of sewing machines around the world. So that is going to be on Friday the 17th, and as I said, it is free. It is a lecture demo, will be held in the downstairs location, as long as we have enough seats for everybody. And then we have demonstrations Friday afternoon, Saturday, and Sunday. So lots going on. Always a special weekend with maybe special buys, or we'll put together some special things. And you know, you never know. We want you to come in and find out what we're doing. So those of you who are local and can do that, we appreciate it. I know those of you, as I said, we have a very large reach. We'll see what we can do to maybe reach out to you. Might record a little bit of a demo and post it on our YouTube channel, which all of it is, but we'll have to see how crazy it gets. We have good intentions, but sometimes we don't have the ability to follow through on them. So today is our celebration of batik. If you are not aware, this Artistic Artifacts was created in 2007 as a web-only business. So that is a very early adapter for websites as well as within this industry. So that was the plan, that it was going to be a web business. So I forgot, everybody likes to touch fabric. For some reason, I thought you would just know that I bought quality items and trust me on it. So I started to do shows, and I still had jobs with positions and tasks with my family's businesses. So I started to do shows, and there was a period of time up until the pandemic that we did anywhere from 8 to 15 shows a year. That's a lot of traveling and a lot of setup and a lot of begging somebody to come with me, and yes, you do have to put a booth up and take it down. So we did that for many years, and in 2012, one of the companies called Batik Tambal, they decided they wanted to retire, and we had met on the road. You make lots of great friends with working with vendors, and because you're in similar situations, that you develop this rapport. So they had asked me if I was interested in the business to be able to let their artists still have a way of selling, because this was monetarily very important for them in Indonesia to be able to continue to sell their artwork and have an outlet for it. So my husband and I did that in 2012, and in January we found ourselves on planes flying to Indonesia. Now, I was lucky enough to be able to travel in Europe as I grew up, because I was just lucky enough, and Indonesia was just not on my, like, I didn't know where it was, what it was like, why do I want to go there, and I found just an amazing culture, fabulously friendly people, creativity everywhere, and a beautiful environment. So most of our commercial endeavors are in Java, which is a very large island. And then lots and lots of people know Bali. Bali is a whole wonderful universe of it in itself. And so we incorporated Batik Tambal with Artistic Artifacts, and that brought Batik to us. So let me show you, we have, some of you may know Batik Tambal. So these are Indonesian panels that are created by hand, and that was the business that we bought from Batik Tambal. So when I'm saying by hand, this is a tool, chanting tool, and you can see that it has various spouts, okay? So one of the things that you do with this, and there can be one spout, there can be multiple spouts, but it is dipped in hot batik wax, which is a mixture of multiple things, including resin and beeswax and paraffin, and it's actually highly secret. And they would hold a piece of fabric that may have had this fish sketched on it, and they're scooping the wax and they're putting dots. So each one of these spouts are dots. So this would be the first. They would take a white piece of fabric and they would put the wax. So they created wherever the white is going to be. So then they dye it, and then they put more wax on. And this is repeated anywhere from 5 to 11 times, depending on the artist and the number of colors. I mean, there are an amazing number of colors in this, and that was all done by hand. Now, I dabbled in batik when I was in college, and I can't get past 3 dyes. I know 3 colors, 1, 2, 3, but we have artists who, let me see if I can find, okay. This is 11. This is 11 waxes and dyes. I can't tell you the order of colors. Now, the other thing about them, they are so prolific at this that if they make a mistake, they take the wax off and they can fix it. I don't know about you, but if I make a mistake, I can't take the wax off and fix it. So I have embraced this creative endeavor, and I purchased these panels, and I find it much easier to do that. So here is Mahyar. This is a really cool, a tree of life is always a wonderful segment. This is a half of a tree of a life. This panel is very large and wonderful. So we have been selling these batik panels since 2012, and it's just been such a fabulous it's just been a fabulous experience to know that culture and to meet those people. This is Chris Vin, who is very creative. We have these panels still, Roosli panels, and she cut them up. And she did some hand stitching as well as some machine stitching on them. That's it. We spent about 5 years creating samples for this book. So this book, Chris told me when it came out and when we did the signing, but now I can't remember. What does it say? It will tell me. You would think I'd have this engraved in my brain.
Chris said good morning from Bethany.
Good morning, Chris. 2019. So the timing on the publication of this book was not really great. And you might not know about it, but we made lots and lots of samples. What do you do if you cut the panel up? What do you do if you wanted a large bed panel, something to go on your bed? What did you do if you wanted to do it as hanging? So we have lots and lots of samples. And this book is about ideas. It's not about patterns. There are several patterns in here, but that's not the focus of it. The idea that I have always said is I would like to show you how I've interpreted this fabric panel pattern, but I want you to do something to make it your own. Do you bead it? Do you hand stitch it? Do you machine stitch it? Do you free motion? Do you use this wild and crazy threads that we get from wonderful specialty threads? So this is what this book is. I claim it's a very hidden secret because, as I said, it's published during the pandemic. But hopefully you might be engaged to look at the book. So toolless is what these are called, and they're by hand. So they originally started by hand as sarongs. So sarongs are absolutely fantastically beautiful. They are normally 2.5 yards by 40 inches. That's a great amount of fabric to make a tunic, to make a jacket. So my hope is that you look at a sarong, although I do wear mine to the beach. I have one that I keep, that you think of it as fabric. Very, very unique, beautiful fabric. So we have sarongs online, we have sarongs in the store, we have panels all online. So this is an equal opportunity for everyone here to look at these fabulous textiles. The ones in the back here, Cindy, if you can show, these are contemporary batiks. So they're very modern, very colorful. They have a lot of activity going on them. And this is how the current generation of batik artists, this is very common to what they're doing here. All right, so any questions for what I've covered so far? No? Everybody's okay. All right, now, the batik that most of us know about and we see in quilt stores is yardage. So what I don't know if you understand that most, 99% of that yardage is done by hand. By hand, they have created what's called a chop. So these are generally copper on the top. They are have a handle in the back, and they the artisans will take a table that's padded and cooled and has a very specific way of preparing this fabric, and they are going to do yardage. So they have a table that maybe is 42 inches wide by 36, and they are dipping this in wax and dipping it onto the fabric. Now, these are all patterns that are created with chops. This is not done by a machine. This is done by a human being. And they can spend 6 days a week, 10 hours a day making fabric for us. It's pretty amazing, pretty amazing. I would have to say the Indonesians have commercialized it as much as possible with leaving the hand in there. They now are very aggressive about water conservation and cleaning the water because they use a lot of it. A lot of these textile countries have not been very careful about how they treat their water. India is one of them. Indonesia was another one, but they are very forward-thinking and reclaiming the water and cleaning it and making it safe. So any of these patterns are from the chop. Now, I've been in different countries, India included, and then Sri Lanka. So India uses a little bit larger pieces, paint brushes. They have a different type of tool that's similar, but you can see that their wax pieces are a little bit larger, so it's not as fine and detailed as the Indonesians. Then, and these are absolutely gorgeous. They're cotton. This is Chandiri scarves that we have, and shawls, and things are a little bit different in sizing that is done in India for that. So we have several, these are cotton, we have several silk ones, and these I picked out when I was in Chandiri, India, so they came back with us. Then I went to Sri Lanka, and Sri Lanka stretches out their fabric down. Indonesians hold their fabric up at an angle. So Sri Lanka has a different tool, and I spent a day searching for these tools to bring these back. The guide thought I was crazy. I'm like, no, I need the tools, I need the tools. So if you can look at this, they have it stretched out. They're dipping it in a batik mixture of wax, and they are letting the wax come by moving this handle. So it's taking the pin out of the end. So they'll take it, they'll lift the pin out and do their drawings, which allows them a little bit finer line than India, but not as fine as maybe Indonesia. So that, I do have that tool. I did bring it back for batik artists here in the US because I was so excited about it. I thought it was absolutely fabulous, and maybe would stop the drips that always happened when I had a chanting tool. Now, let's see, what else do we have for you? So we've put together some kits that have a Rusli panel that to me reminds me of Kandinsky, with some Aboriginal fabrics, and a copy of my book. So we kind of consider this your batik starter kit. So that is available for you to purchase online and in the store. And then Cindy, show them a little, these are all Indian batiks. So you can tell, and these, I did visit the studio in India. I did go to see their batik wax works, and so those are the ones that I brought back with me.
Can you talk about how we use the panel?
Okay. The panel I prefer to start with a garment that already exists. So we had some jean jackets, and Liz Kettle and I were doing some traveling, so we had time to do some hand stitching. So Misty fused the panel onto the jean jacket and then embellished it. This one, Liz did. So she and I would work together on these, and so she did a lot of hand stitching and took the panel and took pieces of it. So when you do cut them up, you can use every single piece of it. So that is there. And we have a little bit more fabric. We have some printed. So the other thing I want to talk to you about is that these culture tours that I am working with, Alea Holidays, Isha is the owner of a travel agency and is based out of Delhi. And she has put together programs to have a experience on a village level. Interacting with artisans in their studio, meeting people in the villages, it's a cultural textile experience that's really pretty awesome. So a few years ago, we went back to Indonesia, And I was able to see my friends there that I had met that I had not seen in 10 years. So it was pretty awesome. And we had a great, successful travel. We now have that program on the recurring program with the Leia Holidays. And my next travel will be June. So when we go back, usually it's at least 15 days. You want a couple days ahead of time. You can have a couple days afterwards. There's so many other places that you can extend and see when you're in Indonesia. But let me just show you. This is an old map that they would do. So this is all batiked. And where we go, see if I can do this right, is we go to Java. So if you see all these other land masses, Java is here. Jakarta we fly in. Yogyakarta is where we spend time. We see temples. There's Hindu temples, Buddhist temples. There's a lot of commercial studios there, a fabulous, fabulous museum. And then we spend almost 4 or 5 days in Bali. And Bali is known for its many temples. Every home has a temple. Every home, it's magical. It's very magical, like you think it is. It's all the shows or the cards or the pictures that you see. Bali is that. Java is a little more commercial, but boy, there are rice fields and beautiful greens and all those things that are there too. So that is going to be June 2026. Starts June 1st through June 15th. It's wonderful. It's guided. We travel all together. We work in a group. We visit studios and participate in creating a batik or seeing how something is woven, because these cultures all wove their own fabrics to be able to batik them. So they have a whole weaving industry that you're not even aware of. Beautiful ikat fabrics, and that has happened. We go visit those as well. So if you're interested in joining me on my next Indonesian adventure, please email Judy at ArtisticArtifacts.com. Email me directly, and I will get you in touch with the travel company that runs the program for us. But I would love to have you join us. It would be absolutely fabulous. It is pretty hot. It is by the equator, and we go in the dry season. So that's the big thing. You're either in the monsoons or you're in the dry. So we pick the dry as much as we can predict it. So it's a lovely place to visit, and the people are fabulous. So maybe you can join me. If you have questions, just let me know. Email me is the best way to get a hold of me first, and I'm happy to talk to you on the phone about the trip. It's very safe. The people are absolutely fabulous. And I can't wait to go back and see my friends again. So I hope that we have inspired you to use a batik, or to wear a batik. Or let's see, my dress is batik from India, and my shawl is as well. And then we have lots and lots of fabric and panels for you to use to create your own artwork. Did we come up with any questions? This is all, Cindy's showing you the front of the store. So we have at the front of the store, this is going to be our display for the next couple of weeks. And then we have a little outburst here. Last time I did go to Indonesia, I got caught up with the wood and the baskets. These baskets are made in Bali. The wood carvings happen all over. And so those are here in the store for you as well to purchase. And these are little tiny, we call them postcards, but they're little squares. They are also on the website, and what we did was we cut them up to give you an assortment of them. And there's no assortment that is the same. You can't say, oh, I just want butterflies, because we've cut them all up and mixed them all up. This is a quilt Unfortunately, we no longer have this artist, but we have lots and lots of fish, which is very funny because I don't think Indonesians really swim all that much or go in the water like us. But this was done by Marge Holtz, a friend of ours, and was using a very unique, creative way of creating a wall hanging. She's an art quilter. As I said, we created a lot of art quilts when we were getting ready for the book. So we spent a lot of time giving you samples and examples. So, all right. So hopefully, yes.
Karen Evenson, what is different about U.S. manufacturers of batik style of fabrics and handmade?
I don't think batik fabric. Do you mean yardage? Yardage is really not made in the U.S. It's shipped to the U.S. And as a shopper for a store, they actually designate patterns and things that are more U.S. light. And when I was going, I wanted more of what did the Indonesians wear? What did they provide? And then, so that was why I would end up buying sarongs for those pieces of yardage or that. So batik like can be printed, I guess. But if it is a true batik and if it is coming out of Indonesia, it is by hand. It is not manufactured. And there's, what I love is I know that there's a batik group in the UK that is continuing to do batik, that are batik artists that have learned techniques from different countries and have made it their own. And I know we have them in the United States, but that's more of probably not yardage. That's more of a panel. Did that answer that question?
Crystal Heron Francis says the modern ones are beautiful.
They are. I just think, can you imagine having a fabulous dress out of those? I think it's awesome.
And Marianne Adams says, love the jackets.
Yes, yes. They're very easy to do. You can absolutely do them yourself. So they're great. They're lots of fun. All right. Well, thank you very much for joining me. As I said, batiks have become a really interesting part of my life that I did not foresee, but I'm very happy to have met them because they're fabulous, and Indonesia is a wonderful place to visit, and I have many, many friends there. We are lucky enough that we have Indonesian artists come to teach every couple of years. They taught last year, and I actually think we're going to get lucky because they're going to teach again next year. So we have a very unique place in the Indonesian artisans collectives over there. So thank you for joining me today. I hope that you have a creative day and reach out and do something with batik.